Hey guys, welcome back to the Flipside podcast. I'm your host, Retro Ralph, and we're back for another episode. No idea what episode number it is. Might be 8, maybe? Not sure. But we have an action-packed show for you today. But I gotta say, pinball news in general has been a little slow lately. There isn't a lot going on, but that's okay, because we're gonna fill the gap with a couple things. We're gonna fill this pinball news void with some interesting things that have been going on in my world as it relates to pinball that I think you'll find interesting. So let's just get this show started. That's what we do here. We don't mess around. There's no sponsors. Although if you wanted to sponsor the show, I'd be totally down for that. But right now there is absolutely no sponsors. Actually, you know I'd love if they would sponsor me. I drink this all the time. Liquid Death. I drink a crap ton of this Liquid Death stuff. My favorite flavor by far is the lemon lime one, but the squeeze to death one is pretty good. Yeah, highly recommended. If you're sick of drinking just water, because in Arizona it's like hot as hell, so you just drink water all the time, but sometimes you just want something different. Liquid Death. Not sponsored by them, but if they wanted to, that'd be pretty freaking awesome. Okay. And what a cool brand to sponsor pinball, right? I mean, just saying. Anyways, no sponsors. Let's go. Let's get into it. So I have notes for today's show because honestly, there's just so much stuff and I'm kind of scatterbrained, but I wanna bring this up because it's an old video. It's actually, I think, like 3 years old, but I'm always trying to improve my pinball game, and we're gonna get to tournament play in a minute because you're probably all wondering how I placed in that tournament that I've been playing for the past 6 weeks, but we'll get there in a second. But there's this video that's 3 years old that Tim Sexton, one of the software developers at Stern Pinball, made. And it was, the title of the video, I think, was Improving Your Aim. And the thing is, I was kind of doing it all wrong all along, right? I noticed I'm kind of inconsistent, right? It's like I can't consistently shoot the same shots over and over and over again. Sometimes I get lucky and it happens, right? But I was watching this video and I'm like, I don't know, what he's saying in this video seems like it would be really difficult to pull off. Or just be such a difference in how I do things now that it would be hard for me to just pick it up and do it. But that's the whole thing. When you're learning something new, it is hard at first. So his whole thing, and I'm going to summarize the video, but in the video, he's basically saying, look, if you were teaching someone to golf, you tell them to look down at the ball, swing, but never take your eye off the ball until you're completely through that swing. And then you look up, right? Well, he's saying in pinball, it's the very same thing. You want to be, in most cases, you want to look down at the flippers. You don't want to look up at the target you're trying to hit. You want to look down at the flippers, then hit the flipper where you think it needs to engage in order to hit that target. Then you look up after. If you look up too soon, you tend to hit it at the wrong time. And so I tried practicing this on John Wick, because the reason why I chose John Wick is because that middle ramp, let me rewind for a second. So in John Wick, to start your ball lock, you want to hit the captive ball that's underneath the Continental building, right? So you hit that. That's usually a pretty easy shot to get. So you hit that. Now your ball lock is enabled. But in order to lock a ball, you got to hit it up that middle ramp, that center ramp. And then you just repeat that process. Once you lock one ball, you have to then hit that captive ball again. It enables the ball lock, and you do that process 3 times, and then you get deconsecrated multi-ball. I always say that freaking wrong, but that's what you get. Okay, but that middle shot was always hard for me. It was easier from the right flipper, harder from the left flipper, but I was inconsistent. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to apply Tim Sexton's thing about keeping your eye on the ball and see if I can do it. Because I kind of generally knew where on the flipper I need to hit it in order to get that shot. So I didn't play for score. I was just practicing. I'm like, I'm going to keep practicing this. And I did it. I don't know, I probably played like 10 games that way. And I was like, crap, like I had a revelation. I was like, man, this works. Like, of course, Tim's a really good player, right? Like it works. So if you're like having a hard time aiming, try this. I'm going to actually have, if you're watching this on YouTube, then I'll have a link. I don't know if I can provide a link if you're listening to it on like Spotify or Apple Podcasts. But anyway, there's a video by Tim Sexton, how to aim. You can Google it and look it up and find it. But if you are watching it on YouTube, then I'll have a link to it. But it actually works. So try it. Try it out. Practice it a little bit. And I'm telling you, it is improving my game. Not rapidly, but I'm definitely improving. So that's good. Shot accuracy is going up. And that's all That's all I can hope for, right? Because I know I'm not going to be a pro player. I'm not even close. Not even like scratching the surface. But I want to improve just like everything else, because as you improve in these games, you get further into the game and the game becomes more fun. Pinball's fun as it is, but when you can progress through the game a little bit more and kind of meet some of the objectives and really understand the code, it gets even more fun a lot of times on a lot of these games. So anyways, I don't know if that's going to help you, but it helped me, so that's why I thought I would bring it up. So that leads me to my second topic, which is tournament play. So I've been doing that tournament over at Player One Arcade in Surprise, Arizona. The last week was the last one, and I placed in the middle somewhere. I don't remember. I want to say out of 40, I was like 21, and Rudy was like 20, I think. So my buddy Rudy beat me by a point. I can't remember how the points go. It's like fourth. Hold on, 1 point for four. So when you're playing an actual game, right, during the tournament, in the last tournament we played 5 games, so 5 arenas. An arena is a game, and then 4 players per game. So it's like, if you're in last place, you get 1 point. If you're in second place, you get 3 points, I think. And then it's second place 5 and first place 7, I think. So anyway, so Rudy was, which is really crazy, he was only off by a point. So him and I he was ahead of me, but so he did better than me. Now, the thing that sucks is I'm going to miss, they do a top 8 sort of finals, and then they do a bottom 8, everybody, like a loser tournament, basically. And I'm not going to be able to play in it because I'm going to be traveling for work, which leads me to another thing which I'm really frustrated at. So if you guys play a lot of Stern games and you love Insider Connected, the one thing that I love on there is the badge you get for streaks. So a streak is how many consecutive days in a row you play pinball. And right now I'm on 45, and I have to go on this work trip, and that's going to destroy my streak. Now, the reason why I think if it was a regular work trip where it was just me and I was visiting a territory that I support, I'd probably go out and seek out a pinball machine. I did that when I was in Denver. I had a recent trip to Denver. I was on 30 days, a 30-day streak. After a dinner meeting, I think I said this in a podcast before, I found a pinball machine and played it. I met that guy. It was his birthday. It was freaking awesome. I wish I could remember that dude, or I wish I could have exchanged numbers with that dude because he was really cool. But I'm going to ruin a streak, man. I just got my 45-day badge. I really want to get my 60-day badge, and I'm never going to do it because this is like a senior manager meeting offsite thing, and I just know, I don't know, and we're a bunch of engineers. I mean, they should like pinball, but I'm not gonna force my hobby on them, even though I want to, just so I can be selfish and not ruin my streak. So, and I'm not gonna cheat. I thought about like, oh well, Kim could scan my Insider Connected at home, but that'd be cheating. I'm not gonna cheat. Sucks, man. I want that 60-day badge. So the thing that sucks, if you guys aren't doing this, go into Insider Connected in your account, you go to badges, and you can see your streak. Thing is, once you miss one day, it starts all the way back at 0. So I'm kind of bummed about that. But anyway, so there was a little bit of pinball news, but it's not something that really excites me. So Pinball Brothers is shipping ABBA. I don't know, guys, like, no offense. I'm sure there's some older people that listen to the show, and I respect my elders, but I have no desire. Like, I'm not an ABBA fan, and I don't know any of my friends. I'm 45. I don't know anybody else in my age range that's like hyped for ABBA. I know ABBA was fairly popular, but I kind of think that's more like my mom's age. But my mom is 75. Like, is like someone in their 70s that would be an ABBA fan? I just don't know. Like, I hope I'm gonna get a bunch of hate. They'll be like, dude, I'm like 60 and I love ABBA, or I'm 50. I don't know, man. Like, ABBA does nothing for me. Even if the game was awesome, like, here's the thing, like with a music pinball machine, you gotta like that band or like that group. Like, I actually am not like the biggest fan of Rush, but I enjoy the pinball machine. But I don't like I'm somewhat interested in that music, right? Where Led Zeppelin, I love Led Zeppelin. That game kind of sucks though, but I like Led Zeppelin. Foo Fighters, I actually really like Foo Fighters. The game, I like it. I wouldn't want to own it. I did own it for a very short period of time and I sold it, but I just wasn't a huge fan of it for whatever reason. But I do, if it's on location somewhere, I'll absolutely play it. But anyways, that leads us to one other piece of information. This has been rumored for a while that Stern's going to redo Metallica, but now I'm kind of interested to know like the timeline of things, because you got Stern. The biggest rumor is X-Men 97, but then you have Metallica also as a rumor. So like and supposedly they're going to actually talk about their next game soon. So I'm like, would they do Metallica next and then save like the Pinball Expo launch for X-Men 97, or do they do X-Men 97 first, and then at Pinball Expo we'll be all checking out the Metallica? I don't know. That's weird. And then they also say that Metallica is going to be on Spike 3. So who knows? I mean, that could be exciting in itself, because I believe the original Metallica was a DMD-based game. So it wasn't an LCD-based game. But I believe it's going to be the same game, just redone on the new architecture. So we'll see. That'll be interesting to see how that goes. So I'm looking at my notes again just to see what the next topic was here. Oh, I did bring my family in. Not bring them in, but my sister was here visiting in town with my brother-in-law, and they came, and it was Monday night, and I had only missed on the tournament. Monday night's my tournament nights. I can only miss one out of when you do the 6-week tournament, you have like one that you can just sort of like throw away. So I was like, shit, when my family comes in town, I don't want to throw away because I already had thrown one away for a work trip. That would have like ruined the whole tournament. So I was like, do you guys want to come to the pinball tournament? And I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to be hyped. My sister's going to be there. I'm going to like do really well. Yeah, no. That actually had the opposite effect. It was the worst. It was the worst tournament day I ever had. And my brother-in-law is kind of a ball buster, so he was busting my balls about that. He's like, man, you were playing great at home. And I was like, He's like, you're playing great at home, man. You were like schooling everybody at home. What happened here? And I don't know, man. I'm still trying to like figure out my strategy for tournament play. It's just so different, because imagine when you're at a bar arcade or whatever, well, especially on tournament night, he plays the music loud, so you hear the music of the location, then you hear all the games, so you're not at all hearing the game you're playing at all. You're hearing like all this ambient noise, and I kind of have ADD as it is, so at home when I play, I either have headphones on because I have the Stern headphone little attachment accessory thing, or I'm playing with the music of the game, in the room. And that's the only thing I'm hearing is that. So it's easy to hone in on it. But I find myself very distracted. So my buddy Ian, Nudge Magazine, right? He's like, hey man, I play with headphones. You know what I mean? And like, that actually helps me stay in the zone. And when he said that to me, I started to observe a lot of other people at the tournament, and a lot of them wear headphones too. And I gotta think the reason why they do that is to stay focused on the game they're playing, and they're not hearing all that ambient noise. So I tried it on the last week, and I did pretty well. Like I picked there's a great Foo Fighters song called "Run." That song's actually in the Foo Fighters game. I can't remember which city, but that game, the song is in the game. But I had it playing when I was playing Tales of the Arabian Nights, and I won. Like I was number one on that machine, which I was shocked at because I don't know Tales of the Arabian Nights that well. I mean, I've played it several times, but I don't know exactly what to do. So I was just like, shoot the genie, or shoot the lantern, shoot the genie dude, and then I got lucky, but I did really well, so that was cool. But still, I didn't do that great because most of the arenas I was in, I was placing third. So anyway, but I got one first, so that's cool. But the one thing I wanted to tell you guys about, the main topic at hand, is that I did it. I did it, guys. I know, but I'm not going to... Here's the thing. I don't want you guys to make fun of me. Well, even though I know you will anyway, no matter what I actually say or do, so it's fine. I'm cool with that, but I ended up getting the Godzilla 70th. But I'm not going to tell you how, because sometimes I do dysfunctional things to get to point A to point B. And don't tell me you listening don't know this. Everyone that's like us, that's in these hobbies, whatever it is, arcade gaming, console gaming, pinball, when you want to get something, you figure out a way to achieve that goal. It's weird. It's weird because I think there's other things in life that you wouldn't work as hard at, but when you're like, man, I want that machine. Like, I want to use T2, and you go scour the earth. You scour it for every T2 you can find, and you find it. You somehow find it. And I know that I have friends like this. My buddy Nick Madsen, when he gets something in his head, he's in execution mode, and that's how I am. I get it in my head, I can't get it out of my head, and now I'm in execution mode. I will do anything. I will sell anything. I will move whatever machines I need to do to make this happen. In my mind, I'd build an addition onto my house, even though I can't afford to do that. It's just you figure it out, right? Somehow, some way, you make it happen. And you guys know, if you're listening and you're in this hobby, you do the same stuff. So I'm not going to tell you exactly how I'm pulling this off. And I have a heavily modded Godzilla, so there's part of me that thinks it's a little bit dumb what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. And so I'm excited about that because that's going to be coming. Unfortunately, it's going to come while I'm gone on my trip, I think. So I'm like, I talked to my wife. I'm like, Kim, look, there's going to be some situations going to happen. Look, these guys are going to come in the house. They're going to set up, but I'm not going to have them set it up. I just told them, like, throw it in take the old Godzilla and throw the new Godzilla in the room. Just put the legs on it. So that way, keep the back box folded down. Like, I'll do all that. So plus it's kind of like, I really do still enjoy the unboxing experience. So like, but to get it on legs first would save me a little bit of time because usually I have to ask him and I'm like holding it up and then I'm like, hey, put the stool under. I'm like kicking the stool under. And then Kim's like, my back hurts. And actually, that's me. It says that, but I'm like, oh, my back hurts. So anyways, so I did it. It's dumb. I did it. I can't wait though. I'm excited. And a lot of the mod makers are already starting to create black and white versions of their mods. So that's cool. There's going to be an Atomic Godzilla black and white. There's already a Nagali. I always forget that guy's name, but I call it Nagali. Let's call it the karaoke building. How about that? I think that's what it is. So that karaoke building is a black and white version of that already. The Diddy's mod Strike Towers, which are the number one Strike Tower in my opinion. I love that. I think they won an award for it. I love that Strike Tower. They took a little bit of the color out of it, and then because that game has red accents, the Strike Tower tips or whatever are red versus the blue ones on the traditional ones that came out with the color version of the game. So anyways, that's exciting. So stay tuned for that. There'll be footage on the channel for that. I also just did a video about Pinball Expo because a lot of people seem to be going, and this is their first year. So I was like, well, maybe it'd be cool to do a video on like what to expect from Pinball Expo. Rob Burke actually called me up and he's like, hey, I really appreciated that you made that video. That was kind of cool. That was a cool moment. When Papa Rob calls, you pick up that phone. It's funny because Rob, when he calls you, if you don't pick up, he immediately after you don't pick up, he doesn't leave voice messages. At least he's never for me. He's like, call Rob. That's all he puts is call Rob. So anyways, so I called him back. I actually was still in bed. And Kim's like, who are you calling? I was like, I'm calling Rob Burke. She's like, oh, okay. She's like, oh, all right. I'll leave you two alone. But anyways, it was cool. He just said thank you for the video, which I really appreciated. And he was just saying how excited he is for Pinball Expo this year. And I am too. I'm super excited. So okay, that leads me to the last thing I want to talk about, because I'm going to try to keep this one short. I don't have a ton, like I said, but I saw a video. This video is old too. I think this video is like 3 years old. But if you're into pinball, then there's definitely like a large amount of people that are into the hobby that have like engineering type brains, or they're very curious about the inner workings of a pinball machine. And like I said, this video was older, but a lot of you guys have probably seen videos from this channel called the Slow-Mo Guys. They did such a cool video on Jersey Jack. This was genius by Jersey Jack, by the way. So Jersey Jack donated, I think he had to give it back, but they provided a Willy Wonka machine to the Slow-Mo Guys so that they could do what they do. These like super, super high frame rate cameras capturing, things at a ridiculous amount of frames per second so that you can see it back in like a very, very smooth slow motion, like stuff your eyes would never be able to pick up. And the coolest part is like they show this part of the video where the flippers, he like at first when he was playing the video back, he's like, I feel like something might be wrong with the machine. So he's like, when you flip the flipper without hitting a ball, the rubber actually comes away from the flipper, like a significant amount too. It's just your eyes never pick it up. And I was like, that was so wild. And he showed like a magnet in slow motion. He showed pop bumpers in slow motion, the auto launcher, like all that stuff was really cool. Slingshots. I don't know. I think if you're into pinball and you have that curiosity, or you're someone that works on them frequently, you might enjoy it. And I think if you're a pinball fan, you'd enjoy it anyways. I thought it was really cool. And it made me kind of want to play Willy Wonka. I haven't seen a Willy Wonka really much on site. And my problem is I gotta be honest with you guys. I ignore a lot of the Jersey Jack games. Not because I don't want to play them or anything. I just feel like when, at least in a lot of the places that I go to, they're there, but they're kind of like secondary. Now I did play Elton John at Southern Fried Gaming Expo, and I was like, man, this game's pretty cool. So like, I'd like to log more time on Elton John. I'd also really like to finally, at one point, I would love to play a Pirates of the Caribbean. It looks so cool, the Jersey Jack Pirates of the Caribbean. And I guess it didn't do well. I don't know why, though. Like, I don't know why. it seems like that would be an IP. Maybe they released it too late. I don't remember when that game came out, but maybe like a lot of the fun and excitement around Pirates was already gone. I don't know. Maybe they just chose a wrong time, but that just seems like that would be a cash cow, license to get. Anyways, maybe they'll re-release it at some point, like Stern's doing with some of their popular games. I think that game is now popular after all these years, but they're hard to find. You don't see them very often. So anyways, I don't know if any of you guys if you're watching it on YouTube and you like that game or have opinions on that game, I'd love to hear from you, because I've never got a chance to play it. But that boat that rocks in the back, I'm like, dude, that is so cool. I've been watching a lot of videos about it lately. I've actually been watching a lot of videos about pinball in general. There's some really, really good pinball content out there. Over the past 6 months, I discovered Wormhole, which I know is a really popular podcast. They have great interviews. There's so many. And then you have the Flipping Out guys, you have Straight Down the Middle, you have Loser Kid. There's so many people. Connecticist, Colin. I don't know why I can't say it. Connecticist. Why can't I say that? I feel so stupid. It's like how I can't say Giordano's. I'm Italian and I can't say it. When we're at Pinball Expo, I'm like, let's go to Giordano. I don't know why I can't say it. Giordano's, Giordano, I don't know. I can't say it. I don't know why. Something's wrong with me. Something's definitely wrong with me. How am I a functioning adult? I have no idea. So anyways, that's all I've really been up to. I've been playing a ton of pinball. I haven't really been making much content. I mean, if you really think about it, my last video on Pinball Expo was really just me writing a voiceover. I wrote a voiceover. Mason has all that B-roll footage. And I just made sure that I was conscious when I was writing that voiceover to know that we have clips that we can pull for all that stuff. It is kind of cool that I've been doing YouTube for so long that I can actually take a lot of clips that are historical clips. I have a NAS device, which I have it all stored on, and then Mason has a lot of it too. So it's easy for us to take older content and reuse it, because there's a lot of it we haven't used. So I try to pull B-roll from videos we didn't use, you know what I mean? But B-roll that we didn't use for a video, because there's so much. Sometimes we'll leave a shoot or something, and there's probably hundreds of clips we don't use. So, but they're not bad clips. It's just, to tell a story, we didn't need them, so we don't use them. But that also leaves me with a lot of really cool, cutting room floor stuff, which can show up in other videos. As a matter of fact, I just found a bunch of footage from when we went out to Captain's Auctions Warehouse of their pinball room, which I can't remember what they call that room, but it's open to the public. You can go play if you're in the Southern California area. The Captain is awesome. Everyone over there is awesome. Go see CC. She runs that show over there. Man, they do a great job, and there's a lot of very nice pinball machines in that showroom, so you can go play, and I think they run regular tournaments and all that. So that is kind of all I have. But needless to say, there's going to be a lot more going on. I am going to, this weekend actually, I'm going to a John Wick launch party. It's the last one in Phoenix, and I called up Rudy. I'm like, Rudy, dude, we got to do this. Come on, man. His response is like, John Wick kicks my ass. I'm like, no, Rudy, we're going to kick ass. That's right. And Rudy's like, we're not, but I'll go. So, I don't know. At home, I kick ass at John Wick. I don't know. At home, I'm good. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I am good at it. I got 100. So on the Pro, I got 160 million. And on my LE, I got 111 million. I think that's a respectable score on John Wick. But I hope that I can make that happen. Oh, crap. My camera just locked up. Oh, great. Great. Yeah, it does this thing. Okay. Well, if you're watching the live stream, I've now paused. But if you're listening to it, you're fine. So I'm paused because of the thumbs up thing, those weird reaction things you can do. I don't know. Anyways, guys, John Wick launch party. I'll let you guys know in the next episode how it goes. I'm going to win this thing. I'm winning it, baby. Taking home the gold. Hey, probably not. But hey, wishful thinking. All right, guys. Thanks for all your support and continued support of the show. I appreciate it. Colin over at Connect Assist actually said something about me. That's cool. That's cool, man. I'm gonna have stickers I'm gonna plaster Pinball Expo with Flipside stickers, which, as a matter of fact, I gotta get those made. All right, guys, that is it. That's all. Go play some pinball. Go have some fun this weekend, and I will see you on the next one. Take care, everybody. Still paused. All right, guys, that's a wrap.